From 1965 to 1967, Frazier burned a hole through the heavyweight division until he stood ready to challenge Ali for the heavyweight crown. Then, history stepped in the way.
Temporarily at least, it is all over for the heavyweight champion of the world, Muhammad Ali. He is rejected induction into the military service. What happens now to his title?
With Ali disenfranchised, an 8-man elimination tournament was held to determine his successor.
Frazier didn't want to go into the tournament. I think they were concerned, A, he might have to fight somebody they weren't ready to fight yet, and B, that he would not get the lion's share of the gate, which he had already proven he was an attraction.
Frazier, under Durham's advice, boycotted the elimination tournament and signed to fight Buster Mathis for the New York State Championship. After disposing of Mathis with an 11th round knockout in March of 1968, Frazier owned a title, but not the crown.
The only way they can take my title will be in the ring. And I've been telling the world for the past 4 years that I'm history's greatest prize fighter, and the only way they can prove that I'm not is to get me beat in the ring.
The Ali camp was moving all around the country and the world trying to get Ali licensed to box.
Joe Frazier, went to Washington to try to get him his license back. Joe Frazier helped him both privately and publicly.
Frazier wanted to fight Ali. I'm not quite sure it was this magnanimous gesture of helping a fellow human being, which is why Joe Frazier was trying wherever he could to help Ali get a license.
Whether he was dealing purely from his heart or had his eye on a huge payday, Frazier not only lobbied for the exiled Ali, but he helped him get through a lean moment or two. In either case, the payback was hurtful and confusing.
Joe picks him up and they're in a car, and he gave Ali money. And Ali at first wouldn't take it, but Ali's people had told Butch Lewis that Ali needed money.
Ali gets out of the car. Before he closes his door, he says,
"You wait till I get Joe Frazier. I'm gonna whoop Joe Frazier."
He's afraid, he's scared. I can't hold him, we're gonna fight right now. Joe said, "What is wrong with this man?"
"You get your ticket, you come to see it, because I'm gonna give him a good whooping."
But Joe didn't understand why he, after having that kind of Kodak moment, you know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, Ali goes from Jekyll to Hyde on him.
If he befriends you and trusts you, I think that's what hurt him so much, I believe, with Ali. He gave him himself and was helping a friend that he thought was his friend, and then I believe he got played.
Ali used his mouth to dominate everything. He couldn't let you think you were dominating him.
If Frazier was baffled by Ali's public display in New York, it was nothing but fire the next time. In Philadelphia, Ali hit him where he lived.
Joe had heard Ali over the radio call him ugly, a coward, and Uncle Tom. He was so shocked and stunned by it because he had just been talking about how Ali could do anything he wanted to in the ring and what a great fighter he was, that he threw down the radio and crushed it with his foot. So somehow they managed to join together over at this PAL gym.
We heard over the police radio that there was the group of people marching down Columbia Avenue, and Clay was there, and there was going to be a fight, there was going to be an altercation. I went over to the gym, and Clay did have Joe going.
And Joe goes to the window of his gym and just puts his fists and glares out the glass.
Joe wanted to pick a tire iron up, and he wanted to straighten it out right there.
Traffic stops on Broad Street in Philadelphia. People are out their cars. TV crews are now outside. All kinds of things are happening here, and it's getting out of hand.
So the cop there told him to take it outside. And that's when the parade started to Fairmount Park, and Ali went alone and went through his histrionics. In a street fight like that, Joe would have destroyed him utterly.
I don't know what they were really thinking. I guess they thought they were going to really see Ali and Frazier maybe get the scuffling or tussling or something.
The action itself was bravado because he knew that Frazier wasn't going to get involved in a street fight. It's again another plank in his whole effort to reduce Frazier.
Ali's betrayal so enraged Frazier that he reportedly went to Muhammad's home in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and from the doorstep declared war on the man he thought was his friend. In the process, Frazier had turned himself into a political symbol.
So he became the demon, Joe, the fighter of the right. The reason why we were in Vietnam, the fact is that no one had experienced the black life more than Joe had.
My skin is blacker than him. I grew up in a ghetto. He grew up in the suburbs. He's making me the white guy because he has a gift from God that he can talk better than me. He said his sons were taunted in school and called Gorilla Jr., and he felt dehumanized by Ali's tongue.
I would say to my mom, why is Mr. Ali saying these things about Daddy? In school, I would get in a lot of trouble, man. I'll be fighting, and, you know, because God said, man, your dad's a ton. I said, what? Yo, we gonna fight about that. You know, my dad's no time, you know.
I had to get security, man, for my kids. That was unnecessary. I mean, it was only two guys fighting, you know. Why I had to go to that point of trying to threaten my sons and my daughter.
In February of 1970, Frazier met Jimmy Ellis, Ali's former sparring partner who had won the elimination tournament Joe had spurned. Frazier registered a TKO in the 5th round. Still, in the eyes of many, Frazier had not yet climbed the mountain.
He wins the New York title, and everybody says, yeah, where's Ali? He knocks out Jimmy Ellis, wins the WBA title, and they say, that's Ali's sparring partner. This is a terrible, frustrating thing for Joe Frazier.
And I won't wait till, let's say, the fellow who said he was going to give a belt to somebody, I want to retire till he comes back.
8 months later, a new ring life was born for Ali. Licensed by Georgia, he dispatched Jerry Quarry in Atlanta. 6 weeks later, he defeated Oscar Bonavena in New York. Meanwhile, Frazier was waiting. But when they signed on December 30th to fight for the title, a political maelstrom revolved around them.
This is the 60s, leading into the 70s, and America was totally polarized, and this polarized America even more. It became a black-white fight, an American, anti-American fight. The whole country is in a frenzy about this thing.
Ali was cast in a mantle that said he stood for given things that were accepted by a lot of people. On the other side, Joe Frazier, who was just a hard hat fighter, had been adopted by those who thought they could put their blessings and favoritism and rooting interest in a man who was going to support their side.
It was black versus white, it was young versus old, it was right versus left, it was anti-war versus pro-war. That's what it was about. It wasn't about a fight.